This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Welcome in. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the sports betting network. Mitch Moss, Paulie Howard with you. We are live in downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. Busy 3+ hour program lined up today. A lot on Thursday Night Football. A lot on Elimination Day in Major League Baseball and the 3 playoff games that we have on the docket, including one going on right now. We'll update you on coming up in a second. On the program in 30 minutes, Paul Charchian, Fantasy Football Hall of Famer. Angles for Week 5, props for tonight and beyond. David Baker, professional poker player, has won the Westgate Super Contest, finished second, Circa Million same year. Love Survivor. Is he thinking Rams tonight? VSiN morning show host Jensen Lewis later on, Major League Baseball playoffs, and Scott Seidenberg with a very good angle to look at through 4 weeks, and then in Week 5 of the National Football League a little bit later on in the program. How you doing? Today has turned into an incredible sports day because of what happened yesterday in baseball.
Yep, absolutely. The uncertainty of the football game and looking at it from props and the big move on the Rams and what's going to happen with the 49ers and how they're going to move the ball with everyone hurt and maybe people use them in Survivor. It's so bad, and it's an unbelievable baseball day. That to be 3 win-or-go-home games, and it's Red Sox-Yankees to close it out at the same time. This is phenomenal. Not to mention, I can't get enough of the strikeout props because every guy is on a short leash. So like Tyone's 2.5, Early's 3.5, Schlittler, and how long do these guys go? And what Darvish is like 3.5.
Yeah, I'm taking a walk on the wild side tonight because I think that we get a pitching duel in New York.
Really, with the rookies?
I'm hoping that nothing happens. And I tweeted this out on Tuesday. There is nothing, and I mean this, there is nothing better than tight, low-scoring baseball playoff games in October. I love it. It's my favorite. I rank them baseball playoffs number 1, hockey playoffs right behind them. But I've always been a huge baseball playoff guy. And that's kind of what I'm thinking, where it's going to be low 60s, maybe teetering like in the high 50s tonight during that game in the Bronx. And these two guys have electric stuff. Now, here's the comeback is they're both rookies. And if they're in any trouble whatsoever, here we go. We're going to get the hook. So these are not big bets that I'm making, but the VSiN.com K-prop projections are both hot and heavy tonight on Early and on your favorite player, Schlittler.
Yeah, I don't necessarily agree with that. I would. You can say that, but how do you trust this Yankee bullpen if you're Boone? Well, it was
we saw last night, right?
It was a tightrope, right? What happened last night, but to get out of there with the win. But it's only the second time this has happened. 2 rookies going at it in a winner-take-all game as well. So and not to mention, at least, the
Oh, boy.
Because his angle, I mean,
Don't get us fine, Paulie.
The guys are right down the street from our buddy Richie. He lives right down the road, and the guy's a Red Sox fan, and he was at the parade in 2004.
Early.
No.
Who are you talking about?
The kid going for the Red
Schlittler.
Sox.
Okay,
Yeah. Couldn't say his name. That's why I gave up.
Okay.
Didn't want to get us fined. So he's going against the team that he loved and grew up in Mass and went to the parade in 2004. And I will give the dad credit. He told our buddy Richie, this kid's a real deal, and he's right. And then not only is Early going, but he's just, a couple starts, and okay, kid, here you go. You're out here. Yankee Stadium with the season on the line. No big whoop.
Isn't it crazy?
No, I love it.
So Schlittler has made 14 starts on the year. Early, only 4.
Yeah.
That's remarkable. On the year, very good numbers for both these guys, right? Schlittler, a 2.96 ERA, 10.5 Ks per 9. And then Early comes in with 19 innings pitched on the resume this year.
Yeah.
With a 2.33 ERA. The FIP is actually much better. But again, 13.5 Ks per 9, never allowed a home run. So I think both teams here could be super tight offensively.
Yeah. Maybe these kids are good tonight. Yes. And go over I don't want Cam's K-prop under.
No, I bet him over last night right away.
Yeah, I like that. And Early's got good stuff, too.
He's throwing 100 miles an hour.
Uh-huh, yep.
I think there's an angle here where he's going to be touching, 5-6 Ks in the game.
Right,
yeah.
and I can't believe they're going to come out and say, at the first sign of trouble, we're getting Darvish out of there. Can they even use Miller? He's never pitched.
I don't know about that.
He's never pitched in 3 consecutive days. This should lead SportsCenter, what he's doing. That he struck out 12 guys in a row, and in the playoffs, he struck out the first 8 hitters and then hit a guy. and he threw 105 miles an hour yesterday, what he's done. So, but I imagine you don't have him. You had to go deep into the pen yesterday. Cease only gave you 3 2/3.
Mm-hmm.
I know all hands on deck, but it's like you got to let Darvish go 5 innings at least 6.
Is that going to be possible? Again, we're getting, other than the Dodgers series,
well,
right? We're not getting a lot of runs overall.
Right. Okay, well, I trust Darvish more than Tyone, although Tyone's been good since coming off the IL.
Okay, so Darvish, again, played half a season. He made 15 starts. Let me ask you this. How much stock do you put in? How much stock should everybody put in to home road splits going in October? Because this guy has been like awesome in different like postseasons before, or when it matters most.
Mm-hmm.
But this year, for you, Darvish, at home, ERA was 3.95 on the road, which is where he is at tonight. That goes up to 7.26 on the year.
Yeah. It didn't matter yesterday with Cease, but then again, he only went 4 innings.
Right.
But that's also how good is this Cub team when you're down your big ace and can they hit? You know, they also haven't won a playoff series since 2017. They've been horrible in elimination games going back. No, nothing with the 2 runs in the last 31 innings. So we were killing the Padres and Machado and all those guys. But it's based on what happened in the first couple of games. I would expect 3-2. Don't you?
I kind of do. Yeah. By the way, Tyone on the year, he got pretty lucky. When you look at the ERA, it's 3.68. The fielding independent number is a full run higher than that. He can't even strike out 7 guys per 9 on average, and his BABIP, batting average of balls in play, was all the way down at 232. Like, league average is around 300 every single year, so he's getting very fortunate with where those balls in play are going. Now, at home, like 1.2 runs better with the ERA than he is on the road. But again, the Ks per 9, not exactly lighting it up. And I was looking at player props for tonight, like to look at the history here of any player at all against any. Well, you're not going to get anything in the Red Sox-Yankees game because they're rookies. This is the best I can give you, Paulie. Iglesias for the Padres in his career against Tyone, 6 of 13, 2 doubles and a home run. And Machado was 5 of 16 with 2 doubles and a home run off Tyone as well. So pretty much all I got.
Good, okay. Did you do anything with the first game?
The game that's going on right now?
Yeah, because, again, strange stuff can happen, right? They were so bad this year with Flaherty. He's got horrible postseason numbers, although it was okay in a couple winner-go-home games. They lost 22 of his 31 starts. And Detroit, they've been so bad with runners in scoring position in this series and on the year. As we talked about yesterday, they're 22nd in the league. Runner on third, less than 2 outs. Well, they got the big hit today.
Yeah.
So see if Flaherty can go 5 or 6 and may hold on to this 1-0 lead. But who comes up with the big hit? Who comes up with the key hit? 3 runs in the series for the Tigers, 2 for 23 with runners in scoring position, and 1 for 15 yesterday. And what Hinch could not believe after the game, that they had to rally every inning and couldn't take advantage and lost.
No kidding. So the live total right now in a 1-0 game as they play in the 4th inning is 5.5. And the shadows are creeping in right now in Cleveland, making it difficult here for batters. Are we going to go over 6? There was a bad beat in game 2 where they got all those runs late.
No, I'm with you on the under. No,
I think under 5.5 right now is probably worth a play. I see, but here's the point, right? What we talked about the first game to begin the show. I considered betting Cicconi's K-prop over in this game. I did not. He struck out 3 in the first 2 innings. He already got yanked. So he pitched 2 1/3 today, 47 pitches, a little bit of trouble there, and they're like, get him out. Let's go to the pen right now. So that's my one concern coming up in the game later on tonight anyway, is if these rookies are any bit of trouble whatsoever. Like, what will the managers, how are they going to operate?
What's trouble to you?
Runners on first and second with 1 out in the 3rd inning.
See, that's asinine.
But I think they might do it.
I know.
And that's why I did bet them both to go over the K-prop projections. Again, VSiN.com, which you can check out every single day. Yep. They like them to go over a lot. And I'm kind of in my heart rooting for a 1-0 game the entire way, and that's pretty much it. I made small bets on them tonight to both go over because I don't want to get crazy here because of what we just talked about there.
Some good props today. DraftKings, William Hill, they do an excellent job. Most strikeouts of the night. Most runs scored.
Oh, most strikeouts of the night. It's a good one today.
It was good, yeah. Tyone 15-1 was your long shot. All games to have 7+ runs was plus 250. All teams to score. The no was 2-1. Any team to have 10+ runs was 3-1. At Will Hill, the Yankees' most runs is 3-1. Boston's 8. They can get to this guy. They can hit. Cubbies are 5, Cleveland 6, Detroit is 6. Those are fun markets that are up every single day. Then, of course, you got that. Will anyone hit a grand slam is 5-1. A grand slam today. And then all the props you can bet with the individual players as well.
I got to be honest. I didn't even look at the K market today. Tyone 15-1 is intriguing. You have 3 games.
Yep.
So 6 starters. And so, again, his numbers at home are better than on the road. What if he's the only guy to go 5 or 6 innings, and he could win that bet with like 6 Ks?
Mm-hmm. And I know we're getting ahead of ourselves. Otani's only 14.5 outs. They're going to let him go.
What's the juice on the over with that one?
Nothing big.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. They're going to let him go.
That's a good catch.
Oh, yeah. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, and he's been lately to end the season, he was like getting to 5 full innings when they, trending that way anyway.
How about the dog at the Dodger game? How good is that?
Oh, it's pretty good.
Glasses on.
Yeah, that's.
No, I don't know about, he brings somebody, just holds on to him the whole time. That's got to be a tough scene for 3 hours. He's just cradling. He's a big fella.
Sure he is.
The sunglasses stay on and hang out the service dog in the bleachers.
What is your level of concern with that bullpen again after last night?
Yeah, right. How about all the pitches? That's got to be a record. Is it 90 pitches in the last 8 innings?
80 or 90 pitches, I believe, combined.
Yeah, unbelievable. Check it out. Our all-new AI prop projections powered by Opt. That's incredible. They expect a huge night from Adams and a big, big night from Stafford to go over his passing yards. Check it out. VSiN subscribers, get it now. VSiN.com/props. You'll love it. And it's up there, ready to go for every game and the Thursday night game right now. Big night from Stafford. VSiN.com/props.
They're also high on a Niners receiver tonight. So I backed that with a bet. Tell you who it is coming up next.
If you're serious about football betting, VSiN's got your weekend game plan. Fridays at 7 p.m., it's the Circa Friday Football Invitational. Saturday morning, VSiN's college football tailgate show at 9 a.m., breaking down matchups, props, and big-time bets. Later that night, join the football contest show as the sharpest betting minds give you their picks for Sunday's game. And Sunday at 9 a.m., lock in with Mitch and Paulie on VSiN's Pro Football Tailgate Show. Your final stop before kickoff. Check out the full lineup at VSiN.com and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
On the next edition of Prop Points, we'll start off the show reacting to all the action from Thursday Night Football between the 49ers and the Rams and see how many of our favorite props cashed out. Ben Stevens will join the show to give out his best bets for Week 6 in college football. And Justin Barnes from FantasyPoints.com will also join the program to give out his favorite IDP props for NFL Sunday. And tune in to Friday's edition of Prop Points at 1 Eastern, only on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
So, Paulie, have you had a chance to read the VSiN Daily yet?
Yeah, came in at 3 a.m. What's Bill doing up that late?
Well, rumor has it, it starts off with a 12-hour meditation session.
Then he just pours himself over film and live TV, really focusing and taking it all in. Bill's in with the biggest insiders, talking trade secrets, strategies, the whole nine, absorbing the info.
And then and only then can the writing process begin.
In Las Vegas, Bill's late night becomes your early morning. Wake up to the very latest betting insights in your inbox with the VSiN Daily. Sign up for free at vsin.com/newsletter.
Win Some, Lose Some is sponsored by the Sharp Plays.
Were you a winner last night?
Wow, winning.
Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they?
Loser! You're a loser!
Paulie Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
Good night for the favorites. 4-0 last night in the baseball playoffs. They are now 7-1 straight up so far, with the Red Sox only pulling the one upset. Yerfes 4-0 yesterday. Oh, imagine what that paid. Can't wait to talk to Derek Stevens on Tuesday.
Do some round robins with the Yerfes.
Like he always says, you won't believe the handle and the bets on the Yerfie and the Nerfie at playoff time, and all four come in right off the bat. How about Hernandez dropping the fly ball? I couldn't believe it. Big league player like that? Routine fly ball? Whoops.
Well, I will say this, like, we should be surprised by nothing after that one horrendous inning by the Yankees last year in the World Series.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
And don't care. Yep, fair enough. The great prop at Will Hill and Caesars. Fastest pitch of the playoffs. Over 102.5, minus 170.
So what do you do now, next year? Depends on who's going to make the playoffs,
right.
obviously. Do you go to 103, or do you make it like 102.5, like minus $3?
Yeah, well, good point about who's in there, but, that was the fastest pitch in postseason history. 104.5 miles an hour.
You imagine what that's like?
And he's painting corners. He's like Greg Maddux out there.
Yeah.
I can't believe the guy ever gives up a run. Most strikeouts, Yamamoto.
By the way, that's why I love back in my day, guy like you with the goalie.
You're right.
Right?
Oh, the gun's wrong. You ever hear of Nolan Ryan? I read some of the tweets. Get out of here.
But also,
but
like,
it's
just like, people like, I could go do that, no problem, right? Can you imagine, like, the average person?
Who said that?
Just what people are always like this.
I could throw it
right.
Like that.
I could go hit, one of these guys today. Can you imagine pulling a random person off the couch and say, okay, here's your chance. Go face Mason Miller. They would need a diaper, as you say.
Absolutely. Come on. Most strikeouts, Yamamoto plus 250. Most runs, Dodgers plus 350. Highest scoring game, Dodgers Reds 3-1. Subscribe, be part of the team. VSiN.com, our radio and podcast friends. You always want to see these tweets and videos at Paulie Does Vegas on Instagram. Send them in, we'll put you on. Thanks to everyone who sends these in on a daily basis.
Oh, this is so good.
Can you believe this? The dog's hanging out at the pool. Good looking dog. And the deer comes up and starts hanging out with him and licking his forehead right by the pool. And he's just like, yeah, this feels good. Okay, I'll just hang out. You got a tennis ball, too.
How is it not like once in a lifetime, this?
Yeah.
And the deer's like, I'm good. I'm just going to sit here and lick this dog's face for the next hour so you can get as much video as you want on it.
Yeah. Incredible run where the dogs would bring the deer home and he'd come in through the doggy door or the front door. And then here he walks up to the pool where the dog's hanging out and they're friends. That's great. Send that to me, Luke. I'll put that up there. That's great.
By the way, I love venison.
All right. Compilation here. I got this. You dress up the dog? Look at this. They're all hanging out. All the French bulldogs. There's like 10 of them. They all got a little shirt on or a sweater. Look at this. They're all hanging out on the bed. And they're all dressed up. Looking to go at it. Have a little fun.
Do you know how loud that room would be with those dogs?
I got a good one.
The snorting and the...
I sent one to Luke. Base hit. Here come the Guardians. We're tied at 1. Ooh,
let's see what happens to the total now. Total's now 6. We're tied at 1 apiece. But there's nobody out, right?
Is there one out or no?
I got nobody out here running around first.
Lead off double and then a base hit. Okay. Very good. Now first 5 under is in trouble. Oh, I love those French bulldogs. And that they like to talk, though, too. We'll get to that coming up. That's very good. Excellent.
Sorry, I cut you off like 4 times here.
No, it's fine. No, it's all right. Before the line moves, Sharp Play's already there. They don't just follow the market, they help move it. You're not going to outsmart billion-dollar books or full-time Sharps on your own. With the Sharp Plays, you don't have to. Powered by Advanced AI. Plug into trusted insider sources. They deliver the edge serious bettors use every day. Free reports, real-time alerts, market-moving insights straight to your inbox or X-feed. Jeff and the crew have been at it since 2011. Documented results, public logs, transparent receipts. SharpPlays.com. Trusted by pros, watched by the books. Visit SharpPlays.com, baby. Stay ahead of the line.
So Flaherty's still in right now. Is this the inning that gets a little combustible for him?
Yeah, now you got to keep an eye on him. He does have 4 strikeouts. But this is it now after he came in. They only gave up 1 run. And now he gives up back-to-back hits here. So you got to watch everything now. You don't want to look up, and next thing you know, it's 3-1. Nice.
Oh, they got him.
That's a nice throw.
Wow. They picked off Ramirez on second trying to steal.
That's like me back in the day. You couldn't run on me. Quick release.
So how about that then, Paul? Mr. 1986.
Yeah.
The total just like that now moved from 6.5 Flashed 5.5, now back to 6 here at Circa because of getting the lead guy there off.
I don't like the call. Got a little rally going, don't help him out. Hell of a throw, but
yeah,
I don't like that.
Are they going to challenge this one?
They got him.
Yeah, they got him.
It's being too aggressive.
Yeah. Interesting. 5 now down to 5.5. So for a moment there, you had a chance to lay, I think, like pretty decent juice on under 6.5.
Did you see what happened last night? A lot of places opened Dodgers the favorite. William Hill and Caesars had Phillies $1.30.
Holy smokes!
Westgate had Dodgers $1.30.
I did, yeah. That's the first one that I saw. Westgate was $1.20 on
Series
that.
price. What do you think? Sanchez against Ohtani Saturday.
Well, I'm concerned obviously about the bullpen, obviously, but we'll ask Jensen Lewis about that coming up in about an hour. Like, what would his advice be to Dave Roberts, or what would he do if he were Dave Roberts? Like, Sasaki is just lights out. So they have this now. It's like they made a trade at the end of the regular season to bring this guy in, right?
Yep.
So how do you operate with that guy? Are you going to make him the closer now? Do you make him like the 7th and 8th inning guy? Give him 2 innings like as many times as possible? What do you do with Glasnow? Because there's something here where Sasaki's going to come into these games and like be untouchable, I think. But it's the other guys that, and I like Sheehan was really good down the stretch, but it doesn't matter.
No, I don't like
It's like these guys, they have an allergy.
Yep.
And they catch whatever the other players have that's going around that are in the bullpen.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the Dodgers.
Okay.
Guy bet him 7-1 before the series started to win the World Series, so I got to be strong on that still, right?
Yeah, great matchup. Phillies were awesome at home this year. Excited for that one. How about tonight? We got up to 9, now 8.5. McVay's been so good in this spot on Thursday nights. All the injuries with the Niners. I don't know what to do with the props from a San Francisco standpoint. I think he can maybe dabble with a little use check here, right? Anytime touchdown, rack them up, double play. You could rack them. Anytime touchdown was 9-1. That's come down. Maybe some dump offs to use check.
I can see that happening for sure.
Going, but I mean, all these wide receivers like Bourne, Robinson, who's going to get 30, 40 yards? I don't know. Maybe just does the safe stuff and dumps it off to use check.
Okay, so here's the thing, right? Because the top 3 guys right now for the 49ers, according to depth charts I was looking at before the show started, Robinson is going to take Jennings' spot, so he'll be the 1.
Okay.
Sky Moore is going to take Pearsall his spot and be the backup to him. Bourne's going to be wide receiver number 3 from what I was reading. I don't know if it's going to stick like that or not. That seems a little awkward to me. But remember that Bourne played with Mac Jones in New England. And when Jones was a rookie, Bourne had 55 catches for 700 yards and 5 touchdowns. Pretty good year. Put up some pretty good games overall, obviously. It did not go so well the following year, but he came back in 2023 with Jones and actually had a pretty decent season and some nice games. But the Opta AI stats, they're big on Robinson tonight in this game. I laddered him. He was 29.5. That's part of the reason why is he was 29.5 and Bourne was as high as I think 42.5 when I looked a little bit earlier. That's a little bit too rich for me.
Oh.
So I bet Robinson over 29.5 and I laddered 40 plus at plus money and 50 plus. And I think at plus 240 in this game tonight. But who the hell knows?
I don't know.
The Rams allow tight ends to have good games. Last week, Tyler Warren had 5 for 70 for the Colts, and they allow more than 60 yards per game to the position. Could this be a Tonjes game with that? Because he's been one of their main guys since the Kittle injury.
I don't know about that. I don't know. Can they get the running game going too? I mean, their rushing attack is 28th in the league.
I say no to that.
I say that no as well. On the flip side, if you think it could be a blowout, I think you have to look at Corum props.
I already did.
He's been getting a lot of carries. He had 9 carries last week. Williams had 13. He also caught a couple balls out of the backfield. 3-1 anytime touchdown. How about last touchdown? How about go over his rushing yards prop has moved significantly.
How about Utah give me 2 touchdowns?
Okay. You can do that as well. But I think with the blowout factor, and he's been getting a lot more carries, that he should go over and get in there as well, and then you can really be creative, and the Puka stuff is great. I mean, you can at William Hill Caesars, you can bet, will he have 10 yards in each quarter? Will he have 50 yards in both halves? Will he have 25 yards at least in both halves? I mean, he's averaging 118 yards from scrimmage in the first 4 games. He's got 42 for 503. It's just
he could become, what did we see before the show started? He could become the first wide receiver ever with 50 plus catches in the first 5 games.
Yeah.
So there's that. His number's too high for me tonight. I'm not going to bet him over 96.5. I can't do it. However, Paulie,
okay,
there are certain books that are offering, will he have a rush attempt in the game?
I saw that.
You got to pay like 75 cents a juice on that.
Okay.
But he's been getting more carries now.
Mm-hmm.
He's not exactly
Yep.
Deebo Samuel, but he's a guy that they have been giving the ball to out of the backfield.
25 yards in each half is $1.60. Come on.
Well, unless it turns into a bloodbath and they get him out of the game.
All right, so and then the Corum angle. Corum to have 25 yards in each half is 7-1. You want some of that?
I do. I bet him
There you
50-plus yards for the game and at plus 250 earlier today. Paul Charchian on the program coming up next. We'll get into tonight's game, but also this week as well. The Texans' offense, is it capable of exploiting a depleted and bad Ravens defense this week?
Got a good thing coming, just wait and see. It's a good.
Get your edge this season with VSiN's College Football Betting Guide, exclusive to VSiN Pro subscribers. It's packed with 136 team previews, preseason top 25 rankings, and best bets from our experts. Pro subscribers also get the NFL Betting Guide, daily best bet emails, exclusive splits, and full access to our premium betting tools. Sign up now at VSiN.com/subscribe for just $9.99 for your first 30 days. Or save 50% with an annual Pro subscription. And join us on the Sports Betting Network.
This is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Love our Thursday show. Every week at this time, Fantasy Football Hall of Famer Paul Charchian joins the program on the Progressive Guest Line. GuillotineLeagues.com is the website. Charch, good to talk to you again as always. We'll get into tonight's game and angles that you have for it, and maybe some props for it as well coming up in about 15 minutes. Let's begin with the Texans and the Ravens matchup. Think about this for a second. The look ahead, before we knew all about these injuries with the Ravens, they were a 9.5-point favorite in this game. Now they're still sitting there as a dog, so the numbers flipped like 11 points overall.
Unreal.
Do you think, even with how bad it's been for the most part all year long for this Texans offense, is it possible here that they're going to be in for a nice game on Sunday against a depleted and currently bad defense in Baltimore?
Yeah, I think almost certainly. And I really like, and we're going to talk about one specific play that I'm really high on when we get to our prop segment next segment. But the Ravens right now, with a much healthier defense, here's where they rank in fantasy points allowed to quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, and then tight ends. They've ranked 29th, 32nd, 27th, and 23rd. I mean, it's really hard to be that bad against every style of offense that's coming at you, and yet somehow that's happened with the Ravens. And now they're looking at it, they're looking like they're going to miss half their starting defense. This is what the Lions were doing at the very end of last year. The Ravens are doing it already, including all three starting cornerbacks. So there's lots and lots of opportunities here. We're going to highlight my favorite of the opportunities next segment, but Nick Chubb is a play. Woody Marks is a play. Nico Collins, obviously, every week. CJ Stroud, who's playing a little bit better this year than he did last year. This is a primo matchup for him. And, this is a knockout blow potentially to the Ravens. You start 1-4. Your mathematical chances of making the playoffs are 1%.
Ugh.
So the Ravens, I don't think that changes the outcome here because it usually doesn't in the NFL. But this could be the knockout blow for a Ravens season already that I don't think anybody would have dreamed would be over in Week 5.
By the first weekend of October. Mm-hmm. And they were last week, still at this point, minus 370 to win their division. And Lamar didn't practice today.
Wow.
Yeah.
And,
how about that?
And no starting quarterback. Lamar Jackson, I mean, I understand the importance of the game is paramount, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to play quarterback. And so Cooper Rush at the helm, it's just, there's so many unfortunate problems. And you know what we haven't even talked about? How about Derrick Henry?
I know.
Derrick Henry's play is remarkable. Here we're 4 weeks in. Do you guys know how many broken tackles Derrick Henry has as the starting running back for the Ravens in 4 weeks?
3.
Yeah, I was going to say less than 1 a game.
Yeah, it's at 4. So you guys are right on the number. 4 broken tackles. You're Derrick freaking Henry.
I know.
How do you have 4 tackles in 4 weeks?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable that Henry has fallen this much. He's got the 3 fumbles in 4 games. It's that's another storyline that probably not enough people talking about. That Derrick Henry's got some culpability for this too.
I was disappointed in your team last week. The Vikings lose to the Steelers and had issues getting stops, and you got injuries up front with the O-line. What happens now going against a nasty Cleveland defense, and Cleveland makes a quarterback change?
The number is extremely low. The over-under, I believe, 36, correct?
Yep.
Lowest number on the board, 36. So the funny thing is, I don't know how they get to 36 without defensive or special team touchdowns. These are arguably the 2 best defenses in the league. Vikings did struggle more than I thought they would defensively last week, but against a first start rookie quarterback, here's a stat for you. Brian Flores, in his 3 years and a few games as the Vikings defensive coordinator, has never lost to a first or second year quarterback because he puts their brains in a freaking blender. And that's what I think is going to happen in this game. This is a tricky spot for every part of the Browns offense, and especially Dylan Gabriel trying to make his very first start. On the Viking side, I think the toughest guy to try to pin anything on is Jordan Mason. Is the hardest decision from a fantasy standpoint you're going to have to make, because he's a workhorse runner. Aaron Jones is out. He's going to touch the ball a ton. They don't want to have to pass with Carson Wentz if they don't want to, but the Cleveland run defense, unbelievable. let's talk about the numbers for a second. They are the only NFL team that's allowing negative yards before contact. That means they're hitting opposing runners behind the line of scrimmage on average. They rank number 1 in yards per carry at just 2.7 yards per carry. That is half a yard better than the next closest team. And for Jordan Mason, you look at what the Browns have done to other key runners. David Montgomery got erased last week, 12 total yards. The week before, Josh Jacobs had 30 yards. The week before, Derrick Henry had 23 yards. So Jordan Mason, normally a guy that we're very bullish on, he needs a goal line opportunity for any fantasy value here. Otherwise, it's going to be very tough sledding for Jordan Mason. Vikings down 3 starters on their offensive line.
No kidding. Yeah. By the way,
the rushing yard projection. Those rushing yards projections you're seeing on the screen are absurd. I can't see a way for the Vikings as a team or Jordan Mason in particular to get near the lines that you're seeing right there.
I was going to say, did you notice his yards prop yet? Not the projections, but the prop.
No, I haven't looked at that number. If it's I'm going to guess it's sitting at about, I love guessing. I like this game. I'm going to guess it's sitting at about 56.
No, it's 68.5 or 69.5.
Oh, that's absurd. That's not happening.
That's got to be an auto
Vikings
play,
are
right?
missing 3 starters on their offensive line, and they're going against the best run defense in the league. That number is ridiculous.
It's confirmed, right? Those 3 guys are all going to be out on the O-line?
And one of the key backups behind one of those 3 guys also expected to miss this game. So Vikings, they're going to be playing guys out of position across the offensive line because they got to go to their utility center, the 3rd stringer, potentially. It's bad for Minnesota's offense right here.
Yeah.
I'm going to have under 60. Would you say 68 and a half?
As high as 60.5 right now, the way it appears. What about the broken offense that we're watching right now with the Philadelphia Eagles? I've had A.J. Brown in so many leagues over the years. I don't think I have a share of him. I just got lucky by not taking him at all this year. And it's working out that way so far. Like, does this downward trend continue?
So he's had 1 good game and 3 games that are mortifying from a fantasy standpoint. Get this. Those other 3 games, he was wide receiver 70, wide receiver 97, and wide receiver 100 in fantasy points. It is a 2-part problem for A.J. Brown. Number 1, the Eagles are throwing the fewest passes by a mile, just 25 per game, which is especially baffling considering Saquon Barkley's only running for barely 3 yards per carry.
Yeah.
So it's not like the running game has been awesome, but they're still not passing. And then this, and it's killing A.J. Brown. 51% of his passes have been deemed catchable by Pro Football Focus. That's it. And long term, it almost certainly gets better because Jalen Hurts is a capable and sometimes great passer. It's on the Super Bowl. But this week, they go up against the Broncos. The Broncos are the best pass rushing team in the NFL, and they got Patrick Surtain and Riley Moss on the outside going up against A.J. Brown. So I don't know that it gets any better this week. So A.J. Brown, I've still got him as wide receiver 23, just because there's a squeaky wheel theory going in my mind. Like they got to get A.J. Brown the ball, if only to placate him. But nevertheless, he's become somebody you don't just plug and play into your starting lineups. And honestly, I don't think there's an angle that I would feel comfortable with A.J. Brown either.
Okay. In about 90 seconds here in this segment, you're going to hang around for one more. Before we popped on the show today, a professional sports bettor, Chris Massera, who comes on VSiN all the time, he took 95-1 on Drake May to win the MVP here at Circa. He's top 5 as a scoring quarterback so far. Like, does this continue for the 2025 season?
He is so improved. Get this, and maybe it came up during your conversation. Drake May leads the NFL in completion percentage. Think about that. He's a sophomore. And here's the thing. It's not like Tua with the dump-off stuff. Drake May is throwing the 6th deepest pass in the NFL, and he's got a 74% completion rate. And then ask yourself, who's he throwing to?
Yeah, that's fair.
Who's the standout receiver?
That's
It's
right.
nobody.
Yep.
I mean, that's the amazing. Drake May's just making do with whoever he's got. Stephon Diggs hasn't been the same since his ACL. He's in this offense. That's the amazing part to me. And, part of it is the defense has been lousy, so he's getting plenty of passes. 31 passes per game is a lot for a Mike Vrabel offense, but his rushing is also helping out. Drake May, who doesn't get a ton of designed runs, but he extends all these plays, then he tucks and runs, and he's scrambling, tangibly getting way, way better, and potentially sitting on a nice game to this coming week. The Bills have allowed the most quarterback rushing yards in the league. Drake May, super mobile. That could be a nice angle for him as well.
Wow. And when you look at their schedule, I mean, this is why people liked him going into the season.
Easy.
It was a very manageable schedule. It looks like it's even easier now that we're a month into the season. And when Massera was telling this, he's like, he had all of his numbers written down, and a lot of them right now are actually better than Josh Allen, believe it or not. You pointed out the completion percentage. I think the touchdowns are the same and the yards are more, actually. So
unbelievable. Hard to believe it's in the conversation, but 90-1 makes that a real life option.
Yeah, we'll continue with Fantasy Football Hall of Famer Paul Charchian coming up next. We'll get into tonight's game, Puka Nacua in action. If drafts were reheld today, he'd be the number 1 pick overall. But is this sustainable for the entire regular season? Charch will answer that question next.
As sports fans, we may cheer for different teams, but there's one thing that we can all agree on. We want the game to be big. And with 3 levels, 30 cabanas, a 143-foot screen, 6 clean pools, and endless cold drinks, it doesn't get any bigger or any better than Stadium Swim in Las Vegas. All sports, all seasons. It's more than a pool deck. Stadium Swim is the only thing like it in the world.
Check out Stormy and JVT on Money Moves, only on VSiN.
And maybe that's why they wouldn't, because they're the Giants and they don't do things that make sense.
Out of all these divisions, this is the one that I am the most curious about because I do think there are positive signs for the Bears.
They'll take you on a fun, fast-paced journey, weaving in everything you need to know to make an educated bet, while also not shying away from the excitement of a same-game parlay sweat. Money Moves, weekdays at 2 p.m. Eastern on VSiN, the sports betting network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Cruising along here on a Thursday with Fantasy Football Hall of Famer Paul Charchian, GuillotineLeagues.com. He is on the progressive guest line. All right, let's dive into tonight's game with a player proper 2 that you're looking at in this weekend as well. Charch, Niners catching 8.5. It was up to 9. Total around 43.5 in this game tonight. We were kind of like spitballing, like who's going to be the receiver for the 49ers in this game that you want to bank on. I put a little bit on Demarcus Robinson. What do you want to do tonight?
Yeah, and I thought about Robinson too. His number's low. It's like 27.5. That's absolutely attainable. And he was a second-tier option for me. I'm going with tight end Jake Tongas over 28.5 receiving yards. And I love his anytime touchdown numbers, plus 425. Yeah. That's normally like backup territory, not starter territory. Tongas is the player that's going to be on the field for the 49ers with the most routes run outside of Christian McCaffrey. He has been on the field for 70% of the Niners snaps since George Kittle went down. And if you're Mac Jones and all of your starting receivers are out, the one guy you feel good about is your tight end who's been there for all these games for you. You know, this is a great opportunity for Tongas. By the way, Tongas, he's a 49er. Rams allowing 49 yards to tight ends.
Wow.
Right there.
We should have like a zinger soundbite that you have on like that should be like a drop that you have in Fantasy Football Weekly, the podcast.
That's right. Mm-hmm. In 4 games, the Rams have allowed over 33 yards to a tight end 4 times. And again, we only have to get to 28.5. And that includes 70 yards to Tyler Warren, tight end last week, that the Rams allowed. And if you think anybody other than Christian McCaffrey is going to score a touchdown, Tongas is the most likely guy. He has scored in 2 of 4 games so far. He's big, physically large guy, 6'4". He's able to win contested catches against linebackers and cornerbacks. So you figure this game could be, the game script's going to be pass heavy tonight for San Francisco, even if they don't want to. Mm-hmm. They haven't been able to run. For as good as McCaffrey is, barely 3 yards per carry. They haven't been able to run well anyway. Jake Tongas over 28.5 receiving yards, time touchdown, plus 425.
I want your thoughts, not only tonight, but moving forward, if this is sustainable with Puka. If he has 8 catches tonight, he'd be the first player in history to have 50 receptions through the first 5 games. He's averaging 118 yards from scrimmage every single, on average here in the first 4 games. He has 42 for 503. You can get creative here where 5 yards every quarter, 10 yards every quarter, 25 yards each half's $1.60. But what do you think of Puka with the season he can have and if he can keep up these numbers?
It's amazing. He's number 1 in basically everything a receiver should be number 1 in: targets, receptions, yards. And by the way, number 2 in rushing yards. You know, you made a very interesting distinction there, Paulie. You said yards from scrimmage, I think, because Puka, they run Puka. He's got 52 rushing yards so far and a score on the ground. And the amazing thing about Puka Nacua, Sean McVay always manufactures looks for him no matter what. And defenses go out and specifically try to stop Puka Nacua. Doesn't matter. And Nacua is so good. And he can run from outside left. He can run from the slot left, slot right, and outside right. And that really, it makes him so hard for defenses to match up against him. Now, I like him tonight. He has faced the Niners 3 times. He's either scored or top 97 yards in every matchup he's had, going back to last year. Niners have been great against wideouts on paper, but they've played the Saints, the Cardinals, and the Jaguars. I don't think there's no receiver that's even in the same conversation with Puka Nacua. The only receiver so far that the Niners have seen that's anywhere near Puka's level was Jackson Smith and Jigba in week 1. He put up 124 yards. So, McVay is so dependable in finding ways to get the ball to Puka Nacua. I think the sustainability is here. And the only thing that derails him this season is injury.
Very good. Follow the money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Our guest, Paul Charchian. You can follow him on X at Paul Charchian. And his podcast is called Fantasy Football Weekly as well, going on 3 decades of that. Does a great job for fantasy every single week. Okay, so you need to let this one breathe for a minute and stretch out. Take your time because it's in the Browns-Vikings game. Let's go. Let's throw a little poison into this, right? Because we always have to have like an under as well. Can't just go all overs. Let's go an under. Oh, yeah. State your case for Jerry Jeudy to kind of put up a stink bomb against the Vikings.
Yeah, under 47.5 receiving yards. I already mentioned Dylan Gabriel in the last segment. A brutal spot for him to be put up first start against Brian Flores. Gabriel's already a floppy-armed passer. It is going to be nothing but first-read short passes in this game.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard for Judy to get to the 47.5 receiving yards or 5-yard receptions at a time. But even more than that, Cedric Tillman's on IR. So that means the Vikings can scheme away Jerry Jeudy, the other starter, with star cornerback Isaiah Rodgers. He is Pro Football Focus's #1 ranked coverage cornerback. Opposing passers throwing at Isaiah Rodgers have a passer rating of 42. That's it. Now, as for yards against wideouts, the Vikings rank 3rd fewest. They held Jamar Chase to 50 yards, Drake London to 49 yards. What's Jerry Jeudy even doing in this conversation anywhere near Jamar Chase and Drake London? He doesn't belong here. Mitch and Paulie, let me ask you this. I would like you to guess at Joe Flacco's passer rating on balls thrown to Jerry Jeudy this year.
From 0, right, to 158.3?
Yeah, 158.3 would be perfect. I don't think you can physically get to 0.
Okay.
If you dirt the ball every time, your passer rating is 39.
Okay.
Great.
What do you think, Paul? Over 51?
Yeah.
Passer rating on balls thrown at Jerry Jeudy is 26.
Oh, my
Joe
God.
Flacco would have been better throwing the ball into the ground every time instead of throwing to Jerry Jeudy. He's somehow 13 points worse than turf. Jerry Jeudy, last thing. He's moved into pole position as the league's preeminent ball dropper. He's got 4 drop passes already this year. He drops some more balls than a hernia specialist. You can probably count on one of those this week, too. This is a great opportunity to go under 47.5 yards.
All right. Yeah, I can see that one coming.
Yeah.
I saw you working there. Is this Mitch saw 500 to 1 Sunday?
It was. I saw a person who we know who bet it.
Okay, there was 250 the other day. How about Puka MVP? These quarterbacks aren't having
great 200 receiving yards.
Yeah.
If he hits 200 receiving yards and there isn't an obvious quarterback, we just talked about Drake May being in the conversation.
Yes, right.
If there's not an obvious quarterback, and he hits 2,000 receiving yards, it sets all-time records, which he might do. Yeah, he's absolutely in play. It only happens once a decade for a non-quarterback, but this potentially could be the year.
All right, give us your look or two if you have time here in this Texans-Ravens game and who you want to attack.
The angle here for sure is Christian Kirk. Over 33.5 receiving yards and plus 340 anytime touchdown. Kirk is Houston's slot receiver. He runs 71% of his routes from the slot. Baltimore's slot cornerback is Marlon Humphrey. He's out for this game. His replacement is an undrafted rookie named Keon Martin, who's been forced into play a handful of times. He's been targeted 7 times so far this year, and Keon Martin has allowed all 7 receptions and a touchdown so far. And when the Ravens don't use their slot cornerback to cover the wide receiver in the slot, they like to use linebacker Roquan Smith. He's out with a hamstring injury. And the other guy they like to use sometimes against slot receivers is safety Kyle Hamilton. He's got a groin injury. The Ravens are already getting worked by slot receivers. They allow the second most yards to slot receivers versus outside receivers. Last week, Marquise Brown and Juju Smith-Schuster scored while running half the routes from the slot. The week before that, Amon-Ra St. Brown, slot receiver for the Lions, scored. The week before that, Cedric Tillman scored from the slot. And if you go all the way back to week 1, Khalil Shakir against the Ravens on a bad ankle posted 6 catches and 64 yards almost entirely from the slot. He was a game-time decision, and he lit him up from the slot. Christian Kirk over 33.5 receiving yards plus 340 anytime touchdown.
Beautiful. Love it. Anything here with Woody Marks, or is it a pass this week?
Oh, Woody Marks is absolutely in play. We were talking about it on the break. The Ravens have allowed the most running back receptions in the league, 29 already. And Woody Marks' receiving line, and he's the designated pass catcher among him and Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb, obviously not a gifted receiver. Woody Marks is. He's a fluid, natural receiver out of the backfield. His line, refresh me on the line. I think it was sitting at 15 receiving yards.
13.5 at FanDuel.
13.5. That's an outstanding opportunity. We're seeing 16.5 here. That's a fantastic and very bettable line for him as well against the Ravens. You can just find Houston's offense, find ways to get in on this action.
Plus 230 to have 25 yards at DraftKings.
Okay. Yeah. Ladder him up a little bit here. Charge, that was so good, man.
Let's do it. That kid's good.
Yep.
That kid's good. He's going to win the job entirely from Nick Chubb.
I think you're right. Totally looked the part last week.
He did.
All right, buddy. Thank you. That was dynamite. We appreciate it.
Thanks, friends. We'll talk to you next week.
There you go. Yeah, his podcast is called Fantasy Football Weekly. Been doing it for like 30 years. Website, guillotineleagues.com. Join us here on the Progressive Guest Line. Up next, well, there's been a run, by the way, in the Tigers game.
Dingler went deep, 8-1.
They lead 2-1 right now.
Yep.
In the 6th. David Baker on the program. Week 5 survivor possibilities. Has he